You can feel it. Everyone can. The strange density in the air, the subtle static beneath your skin, the quiet unease that has no name. It's not anxiety, not exhaustion, not collective burnout. It's something older, deeper, and far more deliberate. The field itself is changing. The energy that sustains thought, breath, and emotion is being rewritten in real time, and your body knows it before your mind ever can. This isn't stress, this is a system update. You've noticed the signs: time slipping, sleep fracturing, emotions spiking without reason, sudden waves of memory or silence that feel like they belong to someone else. People are vanishing into solitude, craving stillness, abandoning routines that once defined them. And yet no one wants to speak about it, because how do you explain an invisible pressure that bends reality without a word? It's not depression, it's deconstruction. The nervous system is recalibrating to a frequency the human species has never stabilized in before. For centuries, our biology has lived in survival mode, entrained to collective fear and linear time. But now that frequency is breaking apart. The old coherence, the predictable heartbeat of a dense world, is collapsing. You're not falling apart. You're falling out of alignment with the past. Every cell in your body is an antenna. The electromagnetic field around your heart is a tuning fork for planetary energy. As Earth's frequency accelerates, your nervous system feels it as pressure, chaos, sensitivity. That's not malfunction. That's synchronization. The discomfort is a sign of integration. You're being upgraded from a system that ran on fear to one that operates on presence. No one talks about this because it doesn't fit the language we've been given. You can medicate, distract, or rationalize, but deep down you know something larger than psychology is moving through humanity. The frequency is no longer external. It's coming from inside the collective field, asking each individual to attune or release. This heaviness you feel isn't darkness, it's density leaving. You are not broken, you are becoming lighter, and the reason it hurts is because resistance is burning off at the molecular level. This is not the end of the world, it's the end of the world that fed on disconnection. The silence you hear between thoughts is the hum of a new structure forming. The space between chaos and peace is where the new consciousness is remembering itself. The body always knows before the mind admits. When a collective frequency shifts, the nervous system feels it first. You sense it as tightness in the chest, restless nights, sudden bursts of emotion, flashes of clarity followed by deep fatigue. These are not random symptoms. They are biological signals that your internal circuitry is being retuned. The body speaks the language of the field long before the brain learns its words. Your nervous system is an antenna made of light and memory. It listens not only to thoughts but to vibration. Every heartbeat emits a frequency that interacts with the Earth's magnetic field, what scientists call the Schumann resonance. When that resonance fluctuates, your body mirrors it. The fatigue you feel, the dizziness, the inexplicable surges of energy, it's all evidence that the human instrument is synchronizing with a faster rhythm. But this synchronization is not gentle. Old densities can't hold new light. The patterns built from survival, suppression, and stagnation start to collapse. That's why emotions rise uncontrollably, why memories you thought were gone suddenly surface. The energy that was buried must move again. What you are feeling is the collective field cleaning itself through you. You are not clearing your pain. The planet is clearing through your nervous system. When billions of humans are connected through electromagnetic empathy, one person's release triggers another's awakening. It's a chain reaction across the species, a quantum feedback loop. That's why it feels like everything is happening all at once. The system is rebooting simultaneously in every node. You are one of those nodes. And when you allow the recalibration, you stabilize the field for everyone else. The brain interprets this process as anxiety because it cannot measure what is expanding beyond linear logic. But the heart understands. It beats in fractal time, sensing coherence before thought. When you breathe into the heart and slow the rhythm, you give the system permission to harmonize. The discomfort fades, not because it's gone, but because it's integrated. Coherence isn't the absence of chaos, it's chaos moving in rhythm. Right now, humanity is relearning that rhythm. The world feels like it's breaking because the collective heartbeat is skipping to find a new tempo. Technology accelerates, emotions amplify, time compresses, and through that pressure, consciousness expands. You are not being punished by intensity, you are being sculpted by it. Every vibration you stabilize becomes architecture for the new field. There is a field that connects all minds, an invisible ocean of resonance woven from thought, emotion, and attention. You feel it every day without realizing. The heaviness in a crowded room, the sudden calm when someone enters with peace, the shared ache when tragedy ripples across the world. All of it is the field, the collective nervous system of humanity. What one feels, the field remembers. Each emotion you experience sends a signal into this invisible network. When billions broadcast fear, the field thickens. Reality itself feels slower, heavier. When billions soften, choosing presence instead of panic, the frequency rises. And because every human heart generates an electromagnetic field measurable several meters beyond the body, these broadcasts are not poetic metaphors, they are physics. You are literally shaping the climate of consciousness. That is why lately everything feels amplified. The world's emotional noise floor has risen. Even subtle thoughts now echo loudly in the collective. The field is becoming transparent, and what once hid in shadow can no longer disguise itself. Old energies, resentment, shame, suppression, are surfacing for release. This is not the apocalypse, it is the purge before alignment. The world isn't falling apart, it's falling into resonance. When you feel sudden waves of emotion for no reason, you may not be feeling your pain, you may be translating the field. Empaths, sensitives, intuitives. These are just names for those whose antennas are more finely tuned, but every human has the same capacity. Awareness is the dial. Attention determines the station. If you tune consciously, you can feel the field without being drowned by it. The collective field feeds on focus. Whatever you obsess over, you amplify. That's why news, outrage, and conflict feel addictive. The system harvests coherence from chaos. But when you redirect your energy towards stillness, creation, and gratitude, you feed an entirely different network. You shift the signal from extraction to expansion. You don't escape the collective by leaving it. You heal it by harmonizing it. Imagine millions of humans breathing at the same rhythm, hearts synchronizing, thoughts slowing. The electromagnetic coherence produced in that single moment could reset the entire planetary grid. This is not idealism, it's measurable physics. The power of one coherent field surpasses the static of thousands in dissonance. Every time you calm your body, you're recalibrating the human network. And that's why everyone is feeling it. The field is rising, reorganizing itself. What feels like personal chaos is collective correction. The signal is purging distortion, aligning matter with memory. You are not reacting to the world is reacting to your evolution. There is a silence spreading through the human field, a strange pause between thoughts, a sense that time itself is hesitating. You've felt it. Conversations lose meaning, desires fade, even ambition seems to dissolve. It feels like emptiness, but it isn't. It's the space being cleared for coherence to emerge. The old signals are going quiet, so you can hear the original frequency again. The silence you fear is where the new rhythm begins. This silence is not apathy. It's the body's way of grounding while the field rearranges. When collective vibration rises too fast, the nervous system must create stillness to avoid burnout. That's why so many people feel detached, disoriented, numb. It's not depression, it's compression. Consciousness drawing breath before exhaling into its next evolution. In this silence, everything unresolved becomes loud. Old memories whisper, emotions echo, thoughts loop. The system replays what hasn't yet completed. That's why solitude feels both unbearable and magnetic, because the field is demanding integration. Humanity is detoxing from noise. You call it emptiness, but the field calls it recalibration. This phase is sacred. It's where you learn that peace isn't pleasure, and silence isn't absence. It's where the nervous system learns to rest without distraction, to exist without external confirmation. For centuries, humanity has defined itself through activity, reaction, production. But this pause, this global inhale, is teaching us a different state of being, receptive awareness. When you stop filling the silence, you begin to hear the hum beneath all creation, the steady pulse of energy that never stopped moving. You start to notice how thoughts appear and fade like ripples on a vast sea, how emotions rise and release without identity. This awareness is coherence, the unification of presence and power. Silence isn't the end of sound, it's the sound of everything remembering its source. Most people resist this stage because the mind equates stillness with stagnation. But the truth is reversed. Stillness is motion perfected. Every frequency that once scattered begins to harmonize. The heart's electromagnetic rhythm slows and synchronizes with the earth. Brainwaves enter theta, the bridge between form and formlessness. In that alignment, time dissolves. You step outside the loop and feel the eternal moment breathing through you. So if you feel lost in the silence, stay there. Don't rush to fill it. Don't escape it with noise. The silence is not punishment, it's passage. It's how the system resets its code. You are not being emptied. You are being tuned. When the silence finishes its work, something extraordinary begins. The energy that once felt fragmented returns as rhythm, smoother, cleaner, faster. The pulse in your chest feels different, almost crystalline. Thoughts no longer rush to fill space. They move like light through water. Emotion becomes information, not turbulence. You've entered a higher coherence band, the frequency of rebirth. What feels like emptiness was just the clearing before the new signal. This rebirth doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It arrives subtly, in the way you breathe without trying, the way your senses expand without effort. The nervous system that once fought to survive now begins to create. You feel a quiet precision guiding you, intuition, but sharper, embodied. It's not new, it's what was always there once interference was removed. Your entire being has changed architecture. The emotional body, once reactive, becomes responsive. The mental body, once dominant, becomes a servant to resonance. The physical body, once burdened, becomes a conduit for light. You are no longer just reacting to reality. You are broadcasting it. Every emotion, thought, and exhale is now a deliberate frequency, encoded with coherence. After the silence, the human becomes a signal. You'll notice others beginning to feel it too. The conversations you attract are deeper. The spaces you enter shift tone. People sense calm around you, not because you're detached, but because your field stopped oscillating. You've become stable, and stability in a chaotic field is magnetic. This is the quiet power of the new human, not dominance, but resonance. This is how evolution actually happens, not through mutation of genes, but through mutation of frequency. When enough individuals hold coherence, the collective field upgrades. It's not revolution, it's resonance transmission. The new human doesn't fight the system, they out-vibrate it. The future isn't coming, it's tuning in. And this frequency doesn't belong to mystics or prophets. It belongs to anyone who listens. Anyone who can remain still enough to feel the hum behind emotion, the breath behind thought. This is why the last few years have felt so heavy. Humanity was burning through static to remember signal. We were being tuned. The silence was the bridge, and coherence is the other side. Now you are not reacting to the shift. You are the shift. Every calm heartbeat, every conscious breath, every act of presence adds amplitude to the field. This is the real ascension, not leaving Earth, but reprogramming it through frequency. And once you know that, you never ask, what's happening to me again? You ask, what do I want this energy to become? When one person reaches coherence, the field listens. But when many do, the field begins to sing. What was once isolated awareness becomes a symphony of resonance, a living network of consciousness stabilizing itself through human hearts. This is collective resonance, the invisible architecture of a new civilization forming not through ideology or structure, but through vibration. The next era won't be built, it will be tuned. Imagine millions of nervous systems breathing in sync, not as an organized ritual, but as a spontaneous rhythm emerging from awareness itself. No leaders, no doctrine, no hierarchy, just coherence spreading like harmonics through a string. This is already happening. Every act of presence, every 90-second completion, every surrendered emotion adds clarity to the field. You are literally rewriting human potential through frequency alignment. The old systems can't function in this environment. They were designed to harvest chaos, to feed on division, outrage, fear. But coherence starves them. It makes manipulation impossible because it ends emotional volatility. The more humans stabilize their signal, the weaker the static becomes. Control dissolves not through rebellion, but through resonance. You don't fight darkness, you harmonize it until it becomes light. As collective resonance strengthens, people begin to remember empathy without effort. Intuition becomes the new logic. Communication transcends language. You sense what someone means before they speak. Relationships shift from transactional to telepathic, from conditional to vibrational. Humanity's shared field becomes the new internet, but instead of transmitting data, it transmits coherence. You can already see the signs. Global polarization peaks before unity. Emotional storms precede equilibrium. It looks chaotic because the frequency gap is closing. The dissonance that once separated hearts is now being compressed into harmony. Pain is not proof of failure, it's the sound of tuning. The noise you hear is civilization finding its pitch. This is the purpose of the silence, the chaos, the release. To bring humanity into phase alignment. Each human heart beating with awareness is a stabilizer in the great recalibration. Every time you stay conscious in emotion, every time you breathe through fear instead of reacting, you anchor coherence for thousands who can't yet hold it. That's how resonance scales, that's how the species evolves. And when enough of us hold that field, the shift is complete. Reality no longer feels like survival. It feels like symphony. Thought becomes frequency, emotion becomes artistry, and existence itself becomes music. The collective heartbeat of a world finally remembering harmony. There comes a point when the frequency stops rising, not because evolution ends, but because everything has found its place in the song. The noise, the chaos, the dissonance, all of it folds back into harmony. What you once called conflict becomes counterpoint. What you feared as darkness becomes depth. The world doesn't become perfect, it becomes musical. Harmony isn't everyone agreeing, it's every vibration remembered in balance. In this state, separation disappears. The body no longer feels like a boundary, but like an instrument through which the cosmos plays its note. The pulse in your chest synchronizes with the earth, your breath with the wind, your thoughts with light. You realize that you were never trying to awaken, you were remembering how to resonate. The collective field stabilizes here, in coherence so strong it no longer needs words. Compassion replaces reaction, stillness replaces fear. Civilization doesn't collapse, it harmonizes. The systems that once drained energy transform into conduits for creation. Humanity stops chasing survival and starts sculpting consciousness itself. You were never meant to fix the world, only to remember you are its frequency. When you live this way, the world responds instantly. Every choice ripples outward as vibration. Every emotion alters probability. Every act of awareness adds symmetry to the collective design. You no longer pray for miracles, you emit them. You don't manifest, you modulate. The universe becomes interactive because you've become transparent enough for it to move through you. This is the return to harmony, the end of resistance, the beginning of remembrance. The field hums again, the same song it played before time began. Each soul rejoining the chorus it forgot it was singing. And in that unified resonance, the illusion of separation finally dissolves. The field was never silent, you just stopped listening. So when the next wave comes, the next surge of emotion, confusion, or collective tension, don't run from it, feel it, translate it, harmonize it. You're not a victim of energy, you are its composer. This is how worlds heal, not through control, but through coherence. Not through power, but through presence. The awakening everyone is feeling and no one is talking about isn't coming from the sky. It's rising from within you. It always was. End transmission.